guys, it's Self-Care Sunday, and today we're going to talk about setting boundaries. So, do you find yourself feeling guilty about putting your own needs first before other people's? A lot of us do. And one of the hardest things about practicing self-care is realizing that self-care is not selfish. Setting boundaries with people is not selfish. So, how do you know when you need to set a boundary with someone? Some of the things that you may notice are that you are agreeing to things that don't feel right. You're around someone that constantly drains your energy. You feel like somebody's taking advantage of you. Or maybe you're just angry at yourself for letting other people walk all over you. And when that happens, it's like you don't have any respect for yourself, and it doesn't feel good. Have you ever heard the phrase, you teach people how to treat you? This is actually true. You do have control, even when it feels like you don't. So, part of setting boundaries is giving you control over the situation. And it gives you an opportunity to show others who you are at your core, what you value in life, and what you expect from other people. And just realizing that you're worth it. You're worth setting boundaries. You're worth being treated well. And your needs are just as important as anyone else's. So maybe try asking yourself this question. Is it more important that other people like me or that I like myself? You have to live with yourself 24 hours a day. So it'd be kind of nice if you like and respected yourself. Also, being authentic feels good. Setting boundaries and teaching people how to treat you feels good. Part of being your authentic self and having love and respect for yourself includes setting boundaries. So what are boundaries? Some boundaries may look like saying no when you would normally say yes. Putting your own needs first. Letting go or taking control of a situation, whichever feels right. Walking away from a toxic situation. Treating yourself with respect. Making time for self-care. Setting limits and knowing what you can handle. A lot of setting boundaries comes with self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing your values, knowing what you will and won't accept from others. So in relationships, it's important to communicate your boundaries to others. Be authentic about it and stick to it. Don't allow people to give you a guilt trip for not doing what they want you to do. Don't let them take away your power. Learn to trust your gut. A lot of people, narcissists, will use this a lot in relationships. They'll make you feel guilty. They know they can make you feel guilty. Don't let people take your power away like that. Also, realizing that you do not have to explain yourself or overshare why you've made a decision. Just you're worth making the decision that feels right without having to over explain it to the other person. I know that's really hard to get over. But have compassion for yourself. Be the person you want to be and know what you stand for. If you don't set boundaries with people, you're reinforcing bad behavior. You're teaching them that they can treat you like crap and they can continue doing that and you'll do whatever they want. That makes it hard to change things because you've already set up an expectation for how people can treat you. And then they're going to react even more extremely, I guess, once you do start setting boundaries. So that makes it a little bit scarier, because when you set boundaries with someone who's not used to it, they may get mad at you. You may have to expect that. They're going to get mad the first time. But guess what? The best relationships are real relationships where both people have boundaries, both people respect each other. You always have the right to walk away or say no. So you need to practice this. If this doesn't come naturally for you, then you got to practice. Here are some ways to practice setting boundaries. Start with little things, little decisions that you're making with friends. Maybe like, oh, I really don't want to eat there today. I'd prefer that we do this. Or, you know, it really bothers me when you say that. Maybe, can you try not to say that around me? Practicing with safe people is a good way to start. Even if you have a friend or, you know, a sister or a coworker or somebody that you can talk to and say, hey, I'm really working on setting boundaries and being a little more assertive. Can I practice with you? You know, will you be my safe person and maybe give me feedback? And just having that safe person to practice with is a great way to start. One really good communication technique is learning to use I statements. Now, I know we even teach these to little kids and it seems silly sometimes, but when you really learn how to do it right, it's really effective. So an I statement is simply putting I at the beginning of the sentence instead of starting out in attack mode, like, you always do this, you always do that. If you start with I feel really hurt when you do that. If you start the sentence with I, it makes the other person more likely to listen and less likely to be defensive. Now, when I was in graduate school, I had a class with one of my professors, Dr. Edwards. I hope you're watching this. Love you. So it was the first time that I had seen someone actually use an I statement in a real life situation. We were in a class and we were covering some kind of boring material, and the class was starting to be kind of disrespectful and like talking and not paying attention. And Dr. Edwards was up there trying her best to teach and to use the PowerPoint that she had prepared. And I noticed that the class was kind of all talking, and all of a sudden she stopped and quietly said, I'm feeling really disrespected right now. I know this isn't the most exciting information, but if you will just get through this with me, we'll do it together. And I kind of looked like, did she just use an I statement? Whoa, they really work. Because in that moment I was like, oh, I feel so bad. We were being so disrespectful. Now, if she had done like most teachers do and just be like, all right, be quiet, I need you to pay attention, that would be a little bit different. But because she started it out with, I'm feeling really disrespected right now, it made us all stop and realize that our behavior was maybe affecting her. So that was just one example. Another thing that you can do to help yourself set boundaries is to realize the difference between being aggressive, assertive, and passive. So, you know, when people are aggressive, they're not very pleasant to be around. And that's not what we're talking about. Like with setting boundaries, you don't have to be an a-hole. You can be kind and still set boundaries. The goal is to be assertive. So you've got aggressive, you've got passive, and in the middle you have assertive. So an aggressive person is saying, my needs are the most important. And a passive person is saying, everyone else's needs are more important than mine. But an assertive person is saying, I respect your needs, but I also respect mine. So That is the goal. And by learning to set healthy boundaries with people, you can learn to have more assertive communications with people. And in the end, you respect yourself more and you learn to love yourself more. So this is definitely an appropriate topic for Self-Care Sunday. So practice these things and let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you again in 1 week. All right, have a good week.